A chance to escape Murdoch'sembrace. I 2009 attended the wedding of News International chief executive Rebecca Brooks. The ceremony took place by a lake at a country estate. I stood next to TV presenter Piers Morgan while Paul Deck, Daily Mail editor, was a few yards away, but what was closer to the action. David Cameron hung back the slope. David Cameron hung back the slope. Gordon Brown, then Prime Minister, arrived late with all eyes turning to him as he walked down to the lake. At the reception, I had a brief conversation with Mr. Cameron. I said I hoped he would not win the coming election, but that if he did, and if he wanted to act to improve political debate and standard, I would support him. For some time, the journalists in me had known that the relationship between politics and the media was not serving the public. But it was my first time I've experienced that this developing culture abuse negativity. It convinced me British press and 24-hour news are making it more difficult for elected leader to govern. It's got worse, hasn't it? He said. I replied that he'd be a much stronger prime minister were he to take office, not feeling he owed anything to the big mirror groups. At that point, Mr. Murdoch joined us and we changed the subject. Perhaps we should not have done so. But we did, however, illustrate something of the dishonesty and a political commercial relationship. It is not easy what Ed Miliband did last week. What Miliband, Labour leader, did last week. Make himself an enemy of some of the media's most powerful forces. He was also about that. Whether about his global community. Was also right that given the media bias against it, he knew why we tried to level the flying field. In my own defense, as my diary showed, argued for some years with Tony Blair that we needed to act on the culture of media. At that point, Mr. Murdoch joined us. At one point, he ticked me off, asking that I not make views so obvious in front of Mr. Murdoch. His son James and Lexington, then chief executive of News International. Ultimately, Mr. Blair thought the press had become a problem, but that given our other priority, people would not understand our taking them on. He also thought it would look like revenge for the fact they had turned against it. And there were political considerations to it. Trying to govern and win election is hard enough without the press being against you. Except that, for all of it, at times media support was something we courted at the expense of position of principle on media issues. But that trap has now been sprung. The latest revelation have forced the police, News International, and the government to act. The police will now be more vigorous. News International will continue with their kamikaze crisis management, which one day will be studied as a textbook case of how not to do it. But the most important development are the Prime Minister during inquiries into press practices and a new system of regulation. This means we now have once in a generation opportunity for a new settlement between politics, the media, and the public. Nobody can argue that we have the press we deserve. Pressure by technological change, a dominant strain of Britain's media has gone into a spiral of decline, in which this scandal is only the most dramatic development. Mr. Cameron did not look comfortable announcing the reviews. He has personal relationship at stake, and given he hired Andy Coulson as his communications director, his judgment is too. Already the backlash from part of press has begun. I seek to maintain that anything but two slips of regulation is an assault on a free press. But Mr. Cameron must stand back from all of that, ask himself what is the right thing to do. He did some of it last Friday. The judicial inquiry should be far-reaching. The news of the war is far from alone the use of dubious and legal practices. As widely in a report from the Information Commission I've shown, part of Britain's media reminds me of the trade union before Mrs. Thatcher. They feel untouchable. As I say above, Labour could and should have done more to deal with the fear of best. But just as the NPC expenses scandal emerged from the failure of Mrs. Thatcher's government to tackle MP salaries, so the system by which she showered honors on editors and owners, a practice to which she put an end with a rule that no serving editor could be honored, means to have something to answer for. Whatever the past, it is Mr. Cameron who must lead the country to a better place. Mr. Miliband has shown himself capable of playing a good and principled part, and so should the public. Ultimately, political debate will only improve if the public wanted to. If they channel the anger, every event into an assessment of what kind of paper they read, whether they really want to live on a diet of celebrity, trivia, and negativity and abuse, to coin a phrase, we are all in this together.